So in this video, I want to talk about how to reprogram the body. So a lot of people talk about reprogramming the mind. And when we think about that, we just use that as a comparison. Reprogramming the mind, what does the mind do? It generates thoughts, thinks, right? We think. So therefore, if we were to reprogram the mind, we would reprogram the way we think. We would change the way we think, right? So how do we reprogram the body? Well, if we look at the language of the body, what would we say the body does? If the mind thinks, then the body feels. And so therefore, when we are looking at feeling, reprogramming the body basically means we are changing the way our body feels. Our body feels very similar every single day. And the reason why is because through all of our habits and all of the life choices that we made, we've conditioned our bodies to feel a certain way. Now, whether or not a person is feeling good or not, it's still important for a person to feel as best as they can. Because sometimes people can't feel their body as much. And so therefore, they're using their mind to kind of assess how things are going. And this might be strange if this is something that somebody doesn't think about. What do you mean I can't feel? See, I'm feeling, right? So what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean is our ability to feel has been really, really limited. That means if I go like this, oh, I can feel this, right? So let's say if I don't tap it, can I feel the outside of my arm? Can I feel the inside of my arm? Okay, let's say I stand here. Can I sense which emotion I'm feeling? These are things that, to be honest, I didn't pay attention to for most of my life. But over the years now, I've realized the importance of our ability to feel and to know what we are going through in our emotions, because it affects everything in our life. It affects all of our choices, it affects our energy, affects how we treat other people, it affects how we see other people, it affects our entire reality. Okay, so going back, feeling. If we can't feel what's going on in our emotions, that doesn't mean that we have positive emotions. That doesn't mean we're feeling good. We simply could just be very disconnected to our emotions, disconnected to the way we feel in our bodies. But it's important for us to be able to know how we feel, or it's more important for us to feel good, because when we feel good, our mind thinks in equivalent to the way we feel. And this is how it happens. When we are feeling some sensation in our body, that sensation connects to an emotion. It connects to a certain emotion, and feeling confident, feeling excited, feeling sad, feeling angry, feeling worried, feeling reluctant. There's all of these different emotions in our bodies, and it connects to a certain emotion, and that emotion now influences, it creates a filter in which the way we see ourselves and the way we see other people, the way we see our life. And if we are now experiencing an emotion based on the way we're feeling, now our thoughts are now totally being influenced 100%. So imagine a person who is not feeling good in their body. They feel stress. They feel this frustration, anxiety feeling in their body. But maybe they're not really sensitive to it, so they don't feel it like crazy. But because they have this anxiety feeling, now there's this anxiety type of emotion. And because of the anxiety emotion, now their mind is thinking in anxiety. So now their choices and their decisions are now based on anxiety. And so this person is not making the best choices that they can make for their life. And that's the ripple effect. So if we want to go and stop making anxiety choices, we have to stop thinking in anxiety perspective, which means we have to let go of the anxiety emotion, which means we need to go and change the feeling in the body. So that is why reprogramming the body is so important, because it affects everything about us in our life. Our mind and our body, our feelings, emotions, and thoughts It's a feedback loop. It's constantly influencing each other. And if we're only paying attention to our thoughts, but we're not paying attention to our feelings or our emotions, then we're not looking at the full circle. And therefore, we aren't able to do anything about it. So now, when it comes to reprogramming the feelings, it's a pretty straightforward thing. You know, when our bodies get used to feeling a certain way, it feels that way all the time. It's like the way we have thoughts. If a person is thinking of something for the first time, then it takes a little while to really grasp that thought. You know, it doesn't just come instantly. And they're not able to go really, really deep into that thought. They're not having to go and understand it fully, but they're able to just think about it because it just came to them or it's just shared to them. It's like learning information, right? Somebody tells you information and then you just learn it and you're like, okay, cool. But because it's very, very new, the more new that it is, the less you can associate other information to it, the less you can understand it. And so it's very new. But then you keep thinking about this information, you keep thinking about it, you keep thinking about it, you keep repeating it in your mind, right? And then over time, we build pathways, neural pathways to that information. We start to think about it really easily. Things can now relate to that information. Now we can go ahead and have comparisons. Our understanding deepens, and we're able to access that information much easier, much faster, much more often. So when it comes to our feelings, it's the same way. If we got used to feeling a certain way, to reprogram our body, we change the way we feel. Every time when we feel something, it is influencing the programming of our body. And so if we want to go and feel good, then all we have to do is constantly make our bodies feel good. And if we did that, then our bodies will start to get used to feeling good. And our mind will start to pay attention to what created that good feeling. So if we felt good every single day doing something, our body will start to recognize that feeling good. So now when it gets used to feeling good, it starts to build the pathways to be able to feel good. So let's say, for example, if a person is constantly stressed and constantly frustrated, but now they start doing an activity every single day, and for that 1 hour every single day, that activity makes them feel good. So every time they do that, they are reprogramming the body, getting the body more used to a new feeling. So now over time, that passageway from feeling stressed to feeling good, now we are directing, getting the body used to this new state of feeling, getting the nervous system to go ahead and change the way it's firing. All of these effects are happening. Our breathing starts to change. All of these tiny effects that are changing in our body. So we just say it's like feeling good, but in reality, there's a lot of other little things that are happening. But over time, our body becomes more used to that new feeling that is being introduced. And maybe we start off, it's being just 1 hour a day. But then now that 1 hour a day of feeling good, now throughout the next 23 hours, it's not just feeling good for 1 hour and then 23 hours of feeling exactly the same as before. No, that 1 hour now influences the other 23 hours. It's like if you have a thought about something, for 1 hour, you have a discussion about something. Once that discussion is done, you don't that discussion, those thoughts don't just totally leave your mind and it's just out. No, it stays in your mind for a while and it influences the way you look at things for a while. And if you don't have a discussion like that again, then every moment, every day, every hour, it starts to go away. And then before you know it, it'll be gone. It's like you watch a movie, right? And then after that movie, if it was a good movie, you're influenced by that movie. You now see life a little bit differently. Maybe there's a lesson, maybe there's something, right? A little experience. But now it influenced you. And that movie was an hour and a half, 90 minutes long. But it's not just a 90-minute window. that you're being influenced. No, it carries over. And so the same idea with our body. When we are to do an activity, for example, for 1 hour and we feel really good, now the other 23 hours, we may feel good for another few hours. Maybe it's another 2 hours, 3 hours. But now we're starting to go ahead and influence the way we feel. And every time when we do that activity and we feel good for that 1 hour doing that activity, we start to increase the ripple effect of feeling good. And the more we do that, the more our bodies will start to become more familiar with feeling good and start to become less familiar with feeling stressed, feeling worried. And so we are literally reprogramming the body's feeling, natural default state of feeling. Okay? So when we think about feeling good, the way our body's natural state, if you look at an animal, it's easy to tell. It's not rocket science. Relaxed, at peace, calm. The body is not under all of this pressure, all of this stress, and all of this stuff. Now the body is feeling good. Okay? When we go ahead and use our body really hard, do some physical stuff, right, and challenge our bodies, it's great, but we shouldn't have to be challenging our bodies every single moment of every single day. But when we're feeling bad, we're putting a lot of extra stress onto the body and onto the internal working systems of the body. So when we feel good and we are relaxed and we are calm, then the body is able to be at a state of harmony. It's like a car. You have all of these pipe systems in the car, you have all of these calipers and all of these things, and everything is running efficiently together, in harmony. But if something is out of harmony, then it affects the whole system. And when we're not feeling good, it affects the way we perform in everything. So if we go ahead and get our bodies to be able to relax, what we are doing now, the action of relaxing, of being calm, is getting rid of tension. And it's because when we are stressed, when we are worried, angry, sad, all of these things, they create different types of tension in different areas of our back, of our body, particularly the areas that branch off of our spine. So some common areas is our neck, is our shoulders, is our upper back, or back of our traps right here, lower back, really tight hips. All of these areas are really tight. They can become very tight. And when that happens, we will tend to get injured really easily. This is why sometimes you hear, or maybe you've experienced this, somebody ties their shoelace and then they blow out their back, or they are used to doing really heavy exercises and then they grab a light weight and suddenly they get injured. And it's strange. Like, how did that happen? And this is because their bodies aren't feeling well. They have some type of negative emotions. A lot of people think that it is some type of structural damage. Something is wrong, something is pinching, but that doesn't make sense. You know why? Because if that was the case, then that means they would have felt that days before and days before and days before. It wasn't a buildup. And a lot of these things just kind of happen out of the blue. And it's because our emotions are creating tension in our body, which is creating a lot of problems. But here's how we offset this, okay? When we go ahead and relax and we get calm in our body and we start to let go of the tension in our body, by doing that, we also have the opportunity to let go of those negative emotions. And now when we let go of these negative emotions, we're able to be in a calm state. Our mind and our thoughts, our perception is now influenced by this calm state. So we're not constantly worried and frantic about life, about time, about money, about all of these things. Because let's be honest, if we are super stressed and worried about it, that doesn't help it. What helps it is having mental clarity and focus and taking action towards what we need. But all of this unnecessary stress and pressure only hurt our performance at things. So it's not helping us. Once we get rid of it, we will actually do better in everything that we are pursuing. So that's why it's so important to go ahead and learn how to relax and stay calm. So we can let go of the tension, let go of those emotions. Now our mind is clear and able to think in the way that we want to. Okay. So I hope I went ahead and shined a little bit of light, on how to reprogram the body. I'm going to recap, super simple. Okay. Start doing something that allows your body to relax. Work and all this daily life it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of stress. Now, word of caution is make sure that the thing that you are picking and deciding to help you relax and stay calm is not creating negative effects, because now it kind of ruined the purpose, So that means, let's say if somebody wants to go have a drink, and they have one too many drinks, but it helps them become relaxed, it helps them become calm. Well, that alcohol is not good for the system of the body, and the next day it makes their mind foggy. Well, also makes their mind foggy then also. You want to be able to finish whatever it is that you're doing. You want to finish it in a calm, relaxed state. You want to have clarity in your mind. You want to be able to focus. If whatever activity you're doing isn't creating that, then you're doing something else, but you are not changing the way your body feels, not getting it to a healthy state. Okay? And that means if somebody was to go ahead and work out, if somebody was to work out and they're using all of this intensity and they're using all of this anger and this rage, just slam their way, and when they're done, they're like, oh man, I'm so pumped. They're marching around like they're like King Kong, I remember how that used to feel. You got a good workout, but you are not actually reprogramming your body to become calm and relaxed. You're probably doing the opposite, reprogramming the body to be tense, to have all of this rage, and all of this aggression. Aggression would probably be like the best word. And I know how that feels because that was me, So hey, no judgment or hate on anybody, man. I totally understand. But at some point, I realized for myself that wasn't creating happiness, that wasn't making me feel good, and that I wanted more in life than just lifting a whole bunch of weight and looking good in the body, but emotionally dealing with all kinds of crap, So make sure your practice is leaving you in a good place, all right? And if you have something that is going to do that, start doing that and start feeling the change in your body. If you don't, try out my flow training, okay? There are a lot of different practices. My flow training is about 60 minutes, 44 moves. You go from being calm or just regular to getting into this whole roller coaster, to where you're going through all this emotion, all this stuff, energy's going up, and then you come down. At the very end, you're left feeling super calm and at peace and relaxed. There are a lot of great practices out there, and everybody's got different interests. And so the important thing is to understand that it is so important for people to learn how to relax, learn how to be calm. And no matter what method that they are using, that they prefer to get there, the end goal is still to go ahead and get into that state and have that state to be their natural state, their default state. So no matter what goes on in their life, they're able to always go back into that state of calmness and relaxation. That's when our mind is operating the best, the most clear, and the most focused. So, all right, that's it, guys. Thanks.